Well, it always began innocently. You know, they never started off with the fervor when it began. It was like, oh, I remember we had a piano. It was a beautiful piano, but we lost it. And then it went on, you know. We didn't have any time to sell it, or we had to sell it really, really cheap. And then they started with the whole thing about, you know, going to camp. They went to the Puyallup Fair, do you know, and they called it Camp Harmony. And they had barbed wire there and machine gun nests, and the machine guns were turned inside. They weren't worried about anyone breaking in. They had the guns aimed at us. And for me, I would not go to the Puyallup Fair ever, because that's where my parents lived, you know. So I refused to go there. But I ended up going there when I was 33 years old. I took some Vietnamese refugee kids there because they'd never been to the fair. But for me, that was the first time I've ever been to that fair, because I wouldn't go there. But they would talk about that, you know, the Puyallup Fair, being at the Puyallup Fair, and they'd talk about camp. And for the longest time, I didn't understand. I thought it was like going camping. But it would come up at all those occasions, and it would also come up in the summertime. We had the Block 26 reunion, you know, where they would have a picnic, and they would sing and have games and all that. And all these people were there, so I thought everyone had a block, you know, like a block party. Mm-hmm. And then they'd always talk about, you know, all those people in Block 2 were really bad. You know, I mean, it's like, no matter what, you know, there are 44 blocks, and there's always one block that's not good, and these people are in prison, you know. Yeah. Get real. But yeah, it would always come up, and there was always this bitterness and anger that I don't think my parents ever worked through. I really don't. My father, before the war, was an independent businessman, a grocer, and he and a number of other Japanese Americans owned grocery stores, and they bought in bulk, you know, as a co-op, and they could compete with Safeway in terms of prices because they just bought in bulk, and they were quite good at what they did. And then after the war, he came back. He couldn't get the grocery running again. Everything had changed. Yeah. And also, right after Pearl Harbor, the business started to die because his customers wouldn't come because he was Japanese. Mm-hmm. So it was over with then. And so he came back and he tried to get it going again. And he could not get it going again. And so he became like a janitor. And his health went bad. And then actually, after that, no one would hire him. But he did get on at CLU as a half-time janitor. So I feel like, yeah, he used to work down over there in what was a Quonset hut. He used to sweep the gym. And so I feel a connection to you. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But my mother, she had health problems too. I think the stress of having 2 babies in camp and a miscarriage in camp, having her relatives get nuked. I mean, she had a close connection to Hiroshima. She lived in Hiroshima with them till she was 15 or 16. Not knowing what happened to them was a real burden on her. And then coming back to Seattle, not knowing where she was going to live. I mean, where we were going to live and how we were going to get by. I think took a real toll on her. Later on, you know, when she finally got Social Security, I think she did better than when she was growing up with us. When we were growing up, it was just tough. It's just tough. And if you can imagine, you know, like if you've gone through any kind of traumatic kind of event, how you have flashbacks, or you might have dreams and you think you're back in it. I'm sure they had flashbacks and dreams.